Yeah, and there's been a couple that came out today. I don't know if there's been new information. I don't think so, but Clownfish put this out yesterday. I think they're probably going to be one of the more level-headed ones to talk about it. So, this is about Doctor Who possibly finally being over. Ncuti Gatwa is gone, and Doctor Who, the show, may finally be coming to an end. So hang on, let me mute the alerts. Yeah, this just happened like within 24 hours. Now, I suspect that the rumors of the show being canceled are just that right now, rumors, but Ncuti Gatwa is out. This is also not unexpected. There have been talk that Ncuti Gatwa was going to be leaving after season 2 anyway. I don't know if this is an early departure or not. It is a BBC program, Anime Guy, but you're a sci-fi geek. I'd be amazed if you haven't heard about Doctor Who. Anyway, let's see what the fuck happened, because, again, I'd heard about Ncuti Gatwa leaving, like, after season 2, like, last year. Like, early 2024, I think I heard about this. So I don't know if this is something new, something has changed. Let's find out. Here we go.
Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles because we're going to talk about Doctor Who, and she does not care about Doctor Who, and neither does the general public.
So I don't have to be blocking
Because there's a rumor
Geeky.
going around that the BBC is basically going to cancel Doctor Who, or at the very least, Ncuti Gatwa, who's the current Doctor, is going to leave, and that puts a big question mark on the future of the show. Now, season 3 of new Doctor Who, the one on Disney Plus, has not been confirmed. Disney agreed to bankroll 26 episodes. They still have, I guess, 12 of those to air yet. But
yes, Grindhouse. This is the current iteration of the Doctor. It was Jodie Whittaker, the blonde lady. She was the Doctor for, I think, 2 seasons, maybe 3. I don't even remember because I stopped watching it. They brought David Tennant back for a 3-episode special about a year and a half ago for like the Christmas special. They brought him back for like a 3-episode special. And then basically he regenerated but didn't actually become someone else. Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor basically split off from David Tennant's Doctor, so David Tennant's Doctor is still around. He still does exist, and Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor, along with another TARDIS, basically, David Tennant and the TARDIS essentially split like amoebas. Ncuti Gatwa was split off from David Tennant. They are both the Doctor, and then the TARDIS actually split as well. So David Tennant has his TARDIS, and Ncuti Gatwa has his TARDIS. Because reasons. It's not. That's the thing, Alice. It's not a split timeline. That's the thing. Yes, Brighthouse, David Tennant was in Harry Potter, but he was also Doctor Who. He is one of the most popular Doctors in the franchise. Oh, yes, Leo. Yes, Doctor Who has absolutely jumped it. This goes well beyond, Doctor Who doing like retcons. Doctor Who has done retcons in the past. That's kind of just part of the fun about Doctor Who. When they did this, they jumped the shark. They absolutely did jump the shark on this.
Don't ask question. Buy next product.
That's the problem, Potato. Nobody bought the product. And it's been failing since Ncuti Gatwa. It's been failing since Jodie Whittaker. Since season 2 of Jodie Whittaker's run, the show has been steadily declining. It got a bump when David Tennant came back for that 3-episode special, and only from the second episode. The first and third episodes were terrible and people hated them. The second episode with David Tennant was the only episode out of those 3-episode specials that anybody liked, because it felt like an actual old David Tennant Doctor Who episode. And then Ncuti Gatwa's run, the ratings have just been in the toilet since he took over. Nobody has liked this show since he took over. The ratings have been terrible. So, and apparently he's out.
The ratings are not good, right? The ratings for the new Doctor Who are abysmal. They're actually the worst the show has had since like the late 80s.
Worse.
And
Ncuti Gatwa's, sorry Neon, I'm pausing you like after 2 seconds. Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor has got, it has lower ratings of any Doctor Who series throughout the entirety of the franchise. Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor has the lowest ratings of all time in the entirety of the franchise's existence, dating all the way back to the William Hartnell era. His Doctor Who has the lowest ratings ever. Ever. Yes, he is absolutely overly emotional and overly flamboyant. He fucking cries every goddamn episode. That's all he is. No, he doesn't give Doctor Under. Hell, the first full episode he was in, he talked about giving another guy a blowjob. Okay, that's how they introduced Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor in his first episode by himself, not the special with David Tennant. He was coming back to his TARDIS, and he was talking about giving a guy a snowman, which is basically slang for a blowjob in Britain. Yeah, Atanasi, both. I think it's both, because he is, if you see him in interviews, he is flamboyantly gay in his interviews. Between him and Russell T Davies, they wanted to make the Doctor flamboyantly gay. And they were, like I said, it's like I have not watched one of his episodes. Not one. I refuse. Should have got 13th on the list of 19 Doctor. Is that? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, except it wasn't a chick. It's a guy. So yeah, he is the lowest rate. His Doctor has the lowest ratings of the entire franchise's history. Not surprising. It's failing like crazy.
Obviously, getting Russell T Davies back did not bring back the audience, because when he came back, he was like
Russell T Davies got unleashed.
He was a very different Russell T Davies than the Russell T Davies from the 2000s. This was like hyper woke Russell, and
Well, okay, this was not hyper woke Russell T Davies. This was Russell T Davies off the chain. So Russell T Davies, for those of you who don't know about this, he was the showrunner for Doctor Who during David Tennant's run. Okay, during David Tennant's run as the Doctor, Russell T Davies was the showrunner. Everybody fucking loved it. The script was tight, the storylines were tight. There was cool little Easter eggs in there that tied back to previous episodes within the series, where when they came back you went, holy shit, that was there all along, how could I have missed this? And it was there when you go back and look at previous episodes. So when they heard Russell T Davies was coming back, that's where I'm getting to, Atanashi. When word came out that Russell T Davies was coming back, people were like, okay, maybe the series will finally turn around. We're getting the OG showrunner that had one of the best runs of the modern Doctor Who series, only to realize that the Russell T Davies of old was kept on a very tight leash. The BBC kept Russell T Davies on a very tight leash. It's basically the same thing as George Lucas. George Lucas, the first 3 Star Wars movies in the franchise, as in episode 4, 5, and 6, were good because George Lucas had a leash on him. people kept the leash on to make sure he didn't go crazy. Episode 1, 2, and 3, he was off the leash, and look what happened. Same thing with Russell T Davies. Russell T Davies, during the David Tennant run, was on a leash. No, I realize that, Brandon. I do appreciate the fact that George Lucas was just passionate about his art and Russell T Davies is an activist. I do realize that, but it's still the comparison of they were so good in their OG roles, in their OG series, because they were constrained. Same goes with Russell T Davies. During his original run, he had a leash on, and he could not go full activist. Now, with the current one, it's current day BBC. They're all about the woke DEI, so they just cut him off the chain, and this is what we got, a Doctor Who that everybody hates.
They were insulting the fans. We had Ncuti Gatwa telling people to go touch grass. We had very obvious DEI talking points, I guess I'll call it, in this version of Doctor Who, where it's always been there. I mean, New Who especially, it's always been there, but not as in your face as it was, especially during.
Hang on. What do you got? Are you guys talking about Jack? Hang on. They tried. Wait. And they tried to ham-fist that David Tennant's Doctor. No, they didn't. Gore. I don't think they did ham-fist. I don't think they tried to ham-fist the Doctor being gay with David Tennant and Jack. Jack was basically what's the word I'm looking for? Episode 2 special? I don't think they did. I didn't. Pansexual. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. Jack Harkness is pansexual, meaning he literally will fuck anything, and made that well known. The Doctor never was. The Doctor was never like that. Like, he just, he accepted Jack for who he was. That's how the Doctor is. He was just accepting of how Jack was. The Doctor never, well, not never. The Doctor rarely showed, like, sexual desire for anyone. The only time, Gore was that. Oh, yeah. Well, that I attribute to again. That was piss poor writing. This is because don't forget the first and third episodes were 100 times worse. This is where they had to like do a dig in there. That's all. Oh, Leo. Okay, yeah, way off topic, but yes, I would have preferred Finn was the main character to write also, but that's way off topic. I'm not gonna jump in there. And thank you, Nia. Thank you.
The Gatwa run. So we're going to talk about this. I think personally, it's going to be paused for a while for a number of reasons.
Maybe tornado.
Chief of which is Disney was helping bankroll this show, and Disney is canceling its own stuff. They don't own Doctor Who. It's not bringing a return on investment. They've been looking to cut costs wherever they can. And Doctor Who is not a priority for them, obviously, because it's not even their own IP. Even their own IP, like Willow, they canceled it.
Yeah.
They purged it from the Disney Plus platform. I think if they could do that with Doctor Who,
they didn't. They didn't. Okay? No, Disney, that's what Neon was just saying. Disney basically had a distribution rights agreement with the BBC to have Doctor Who on Disney Plus. So they have a distribution deal. They do not own the rights to Doctor Who. They do not. But now they're canceling that because their Doctor, nobody's watching it. So they're paying money for distribution rights for Doctor Who, and they're not making any money in return off of it. So they're basically saying, fuck that, we're not going to carry Doctor Who on our platform anymore.
I'm just saying. So let's talk about this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You got like 2 or 3 days yet.
There's probably a contract in place that they're not renewing
pin set on Kickstarter. This should be a pretty quick campaign.
I'm guessing they're gonna carry it to the end of the contract.
We've already coordinated with the manufacturer.
Once the contract is up,
the first
they probably are
with
not
the
going to renew it.
Nigeria branding on them.
Oh, yeah.
And they should be flipped pretty quick. Basically, as soon as we get them in,
Oh, yeah.
we'll get them out to you. And
Yeah, I mean,
we're going to be moving
yeah,
on to a
Willow
bunch of
was bad
projects this
enough
year.
that
We got a bunch of things
they
planned.
completely ripped
Thank
it off
you very
the
much for
platform.
the support. That's on Kickstarter. Check it out. This is coming from the Sun. Let's see. We got a couple of versions here. I had multiple people send me stories about this. People were like, "Yeah, this could be the end." And the Sun, I think,
Yeah, they're
broke
not
it.
going to renew
Doctor
the
Who
contract.
facing axe as lead star Ncuti Gatwa quits amid woeful ratings and fans' fury at woke storylines. Ncuti's exit as the Time Lord would be the earliest exit.
Tornado, that's the problem. They don't do that best anymore. Their animated movies are not succeeding very well anymore. Okay, Disney is failing on practically all fronts these days, even their animateds.
Of a Doctor, bar one exception. I think we're talking about the Eighth Doctor. He was only in the pilot, the movie. Doctor Who is facing the axe with Ncuti Gatwa poised to quit and the crew claiming to be laid off.
Wait,
Now,
what was Nia just saying here? Hang on.
Earliest exit of a Doctor, bar one exception. I think we're talking about the Eighth Doctor.
No, he's talking about Eccleston. This right here, Ncuti's exit as the Time Lord would be the earliest exit of a Doctor, bar one exception. He's talking about Christopher Eccleston, the Ninth Doctor. Eccleston only lasted for one season, and that's because there was problems between Eccleston and the BBC, and they basically fired Eccleston. And that's when David Tennant took over. So that's who they're referencing. They're not referencing, I forget the actor who was the Doctor in the film, the Doctor Who film. Basically, but the Eighth Doctor, I forget his name. No, he did not leave due to health concerns, Leo. Paul McGann, thank you, Zeb. Yeah, Paul McGann was the movie. He never had a series, so that doesn't count. It was the problems more between Davies and Eccleston. Okay, so it was, but Eccleston also had beef with the BBC. It might have been problems between Eccleston and Davies, but he also had issues with the BBC. So that's why Eccleston only had one season, which is unfortunate because Eccleston was a great doctor. He was a fantastic doctor. I loved him. And he only got one season. Yes, Paul McGann still counts in our hearts, but he did only have a movie. He never had a series. So for the purposes of the shortest run of a Doctor, bar one, Paul McGann doesn't count in that metric.
He was only in the pilot, the movie. Doctor Who is facing the axe with Ncuti Gatwa poised to quit and the crew claiming to be laid off.
Really,
now, this is
Zeb?
interesting because I do remember seeing something a couple weeks ago.
Wait, Zeb, which episode are they watching? I'm really curious. What episode are they watching right now? From Eccleston. Which one? The explanation was that the Ninth Doctor was the Ninth of the Eighth Doctor, Kaibo. Are you my mummy? You talking about that one? It was a two-parter. I forget the name of the episode, but yeah, they're all wearing gas masks, and it's creepy as hell because the little boy is going, "Are you my mummy?" And they actually brought that back twice. They actually Empty Child, thank you, Empty Child and the Doctor Dances. Yes, Purdue. That was also where they introduced Jack Harkness. Jack Harkness was introduced in that episode, and the saying, "Are you my mummy?" was brought back twice in future Doctor Who episodes. Once in David Tennant's run, where David Tennant is wearing a gas mask and someone from the British military is trying to explain something, and David Tennant just goes, "Are you my mummy?" as a callback. And then during the fuck, I'm blanking on his name. God damn it. What's his name? Oh my god, I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. Capaldi, thank you. Yes. During one of Peter Capaldi's episodes, the one on the Orient Express, there's a mummy who's getting ready to kill him. And he goes, "Yeah, hello, I'm the doctor. I will be your victim today. Are you my mummy?" Yes. Yes, that's exactly a tornado. That's exactly the scene I'm talking about. So, yeah, great fucking episode. Also, point of note, the empty child and the doctor dances is the one time in Doctor Who history nobody dies in those two, between those two episodes. It is the one time in Doctor Who history nobody dies, and he even says it. Nobody dies, Rose. Just this once, everybody lives. And everybody in that episode does live. Not one person in that episode dies. The one time in Doctor Who history. So, a little bit of trivia for you guys there. See, you guys see how much I love Doctor Who. I fucking love Doctor Who, and that's why it was so heartbreaking to see it go the way it did. And unfortunately, I take a perverse kind of joy in seeing it failing like this because it's what they deserve after what they did to Doctor Who.
I didn't cover it because I didn't know if it was newsworthy or not, but Bad Wolf Studios was looking for people to rent the studio space out. And it's like, well, if you're making Doctor Who, why do you need somebody to rent the space, right? And the truth is that season 3 is up in the air. They have no idea. So the recent series suffered abysmal ratings with fans outraged by the BBC shoehorning wokery into storylines. That is true. I actually had some hope with Ncuti Gatwa coming back and then David Tennant and Catherine Tate coming back, and they ruined it. They totally ruined David Tennant's doctor. They dragged him.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah.
Episodes 1 and 3, they 100% dragged David Tennant's doctor. Episode 2 was okay of that special. Like I said, episode 2 of that 3-episode series was okay. It was like a fun, creepy, old school David Tennant, Donna, Doctor Who episode. The second one only. The other 2 were shit. So far, I don't know. The TARDIS would figure that one out.
I'm not sticking around. Sorry. This is
yes,
not,
Kevin, it
not
was.
what I
David
wanted.
Tennant, then Matt Smith. They brought David Tennant back for a 3-episode special.
So let's go down the list here. Man, they got so many ads on the sun.
Hey, check
Bosses
out
have postponed a decision until Shooty's second season is aired later this year. But the Scott 32 is already believed to have filmed his regeneration exit scene, and the crew fear the BBC will shelve the show after 62 years. This happened.
They need to.
With Jodie Whittaker too, and they denied it. And we're going to talk about that because the BBC is denying it. But they did this with Jodie Whittaker. It was leaked that they filmed her regeneration scene. It was very wonky because they had her regenerate into David Tennant. They didn't know who the next doctor was going to be. It just was not going to be her. And she regenerated into David Tennant, but he was still wearing like the David Tennant costume. That goes against years of Who lore that usually when the
that's a very big point of note. They never explained that either. When Jodie Whittaker's doctor wore like blue high-waisted blue pants, rainbow suspenders, like a t-shirt, and then like a white long coat of some sort. When she regenerated into David Tennant, but David Tennant was wearing his classic pinstripe blue suit and long brown overcoat that his doctor always wore. When the doctor regenerates, the clothes don't. Only the doctor does. So by all rights, David Tennant should have regenerated into the same clothes that Jodie Whittaker was wearing. But he didn't. And they never explained why. Because I think they were trying to basically make people forget about Jodie Whittaker for 3 episodes. Because her run was so poor.
Doctor regenerates, he's wearing the last outfit, right? So they didn't know, obviously, who the next doctor was going to be, but there were rumors that they were going to try to get David Tennant back, which they did. But again, they managed to screw that up.
I think they may try to get it back again.
An insider says Ncuti doesn't want to be tied to the series beyond this and plans to relocate to LA with several Hollywood projects standing by for him. His team also sees a lot of fan backlash from the series, and they don't want the perception of him still being the Doctor to get in the way of future work. So basically...
Oh, wow, that's bad. If the perception of him being the Doctor is so bad, it can hurt his future prospects in Hollywood or in like musical theater, because he does do musical theater also. If people view him being the Doctor as that bad, how fucking bad is this series? Like I said, I have not watched any of Ncuti Gatwa's series. How fucking bad did it get that him being the Doctor is a stigma for his professional career? That's bad. That is real bad. Like, don't want the perception of him still being the Doctor to get in the way of future projects. Oof. I don't know if David Tennant's really did typecast. Yeah, exactly, that's option. Yeah, nobody likes the show. It has the lowest ratings in the show's history. Actually, no, Blood Rose, I thought Neil Patrick Harris did good as the Toymaker. Like, I didn't like the script they gave him to work with. I had some issues with the script they gave him, but I thought he did just fine as the Toymaker in that special. It was good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the role.
It's a sad state of affairs when a poorly written show destroys a person's career. Gatwa wasn't to blame for the shit show.
Leo, he partially was. Yes, the writing is terrible, and you can absolutely blame Russell T Davies and crew for that. But it's also his performance, because Ncuti Gatwa is a very flamboyant individual, and it comes through in his acting. And so he absolutely had input on just how flamboyantly gay the Doctor was going to be. Plus, in interviews, he was not helping the show by telling people that had a problem with the show to fuck off and touch grass. And don't watch the show. So, like every other fucking dumbass actor in Hollywood these days, yes, he is partially to blame for the shit show. He is. There's no denying that. And yes, he was Scrooge McDuck in DuckTales. Yes, he was.
He wants to salvage his career, and he thinks the only way he can salvage his career is to get away from Doctor Who.
The new one, Leo. David Tennant was Scrooge.
That's kind of what happened with, I think, Jodie Whittaker, too. I think she was like, he was.
Because
I think Jodie Whittaker, I think she's an okay actress. I really do. I don't think Ncuti Gatwa was a bad actor either. I just don't think either one of them are right for the Doctor. And they had shit to work with, too. And in Gatwa's case, he put his foot in his mouth by telling people to go touch grass.
Yep.
I mean, at this point, they need to be begging viewers to come back. And they did the opposite. They tried to chase them off. They said the show has been poorly managed in recent years, and there's a lot of people who have been working on the show for years and are now being cast aside due to poor leadership. People warned some episodes were getting too caught up on agenda rather than telling a story in those.
What did he say about acting? Hang on.
Begging viewers to come back. And they did the opposite. They tried to chase them off. They said the show has been poorly managed.
Wait, he said something before that. Hang on.
Them are right for the Doctor. He got was because I think Jodie Whittaker, I think she's an okay actress. I really do. I don't think Ncuti Gatwa was a bad actor either. I just don't think either one of them are right for the Doctor. And they had shit to work.
Yeah. So yeah, no, Revan. He's saying that he's not faulting their abilities as actors for the downfall of the show. That's what he's saying. What he's saying is that the downfall of the show is not due to their, and I have to do it for this, their incredible acting talent. Sorry, it had to be done. He's saying that the downfall of the show is not necessarily the fault of their acting ability. He's saying that he's sure that they're perfectly fine actors, because like Jodie Whittaker, when she was cast alongside David Tennant in Broadchurch, And she did an excellent job in that role in Broadchurch. So, like, it wasn't a question of her acting ability. It's just, yeah, they weren't right for this role, and also the script writing and the stories were also not good. Now, as far as Ncuti Gatwa goes, I have no opinion on Ncuti Gatwa because I have not seen him in fucking anything. I know he was in some gay show on the BBC. I have no idea if he is a good actor or not, so I have no commentary. Aside from the fact that I did not watch in any of his Doctor Who episodes, so I have no commentary on Ncuti Gatwa's acting ability.
Work with too, and in Gatwa's case, he put his foot in his mouth by telling people to come back, and they did the opposite. They tried to chase them off. They said the show has been poorly managed in recent years. There's a lot of people who've been working on the show for years and are now being cast aside due to poor leadership. People warned some episodes were getting too caught up on agenda rather than telling a story, and those people got shouted down, ignored.
Yeah.
Ncuti's first series, which began last May, attracted between 2.25 million and 3.18 million viewers, a tiny fraction of what the show used to pull in. That's true.
That's it.
Is the lowest viewed, lowest rated version of Doctor Who, to the best of my knowledge. And you could see the drop
in
off.
The
like
series
I remember
history.
when Jodie Whittaker first started, and they had like record numbers. They did. I think a lot of people were, if they weren't willing to give her a chance per se, they wanted to see what a female doctor would be like, right? They were.
Yeah, I was one of them too. I was one of the people that tuned in for when Jodie Whittaker took on the mantle of the Doctor. I watched her first episode where after the regeneration. I gave her the first season, and then I gave up because I was actually very interested to see. Okay, this is the first time the Doctor is regenerating into a woman. I was very interested to see how this would go. How would this change up the series? What, how would it change up the perspectives? I was really interested. I'm like, okay, I was interested and I was excited. I was like, okay, I want to see where this goes. This could be awesome. This could be fucking amazing. And they shit the bed. Royally shit the bed. I was only iffy after the first couple of episodes. And then it went off a cliff for me. It was the pandering, the DEI, the messaging, and virtue signaling was just so fucking prevalent. They had a freaking Rosa Parks episode with a time-traveling racist from the future trying to kill her. They had no, not Nolan North. What was his name? Something North. I forget his. Well, yeah, no, wait. Was it Nolan? Yeah, I think maybe it was Nolan North. Yeah, Nolan North. They brought him in as an American businessman that was a blatantly obvious stand-in for Trump. Because when Jodie Whittaker's run was taking place, that was when Trump had first become president. And Nolan North came in as an American businessman that was 100% a stand-in for him. And the virtue signaling and messaging was just over the fucking top. It was over the fucking top, and like I said, I gave it most of one season, and then I was like, I'm fucking done. I am out.
Morbidly curious, and the ratings went through the roof. And I remember everybody being like, oh my God, Doctor Who's back, guys. Doctor Who is so back. These are the best ratings since David Tennant. Doctor Who is back. Jodie Whittaker has saved the show. And then you could see week after week.
Yeah,
leaving,
Merlin, when she called herself an upgrade was insulting.
The show was boring as fuck.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it really is it's a very boring show. And it was also woke, but not as woke as Gatwa's.
It was woke and it had no heart. The Doctor lost with Jodie Whittaker, the Doctor lost a huge chunk of what made the Doctor, in that the Doctor cared. The Doctor cared about people. Even Peter Capaldi's curmudgeonly Doctor cared about people. We saw it in the famous Capaldi's, the famous Zygon speech that was so fucking powerful. even when he was a crotchety old man as Capaldi, he still cared about people. That was lost with Jodie Whittaker. Jodie Whittaker, I did not think she cared about people. It was like a cursory thing. You didn't feel it with her. You just did not feel it with her. And that was a huge chunk of what made the Doctor the Doctor. Yeah, John Hurt's War Doctor cared about people. He did what he did because of what was being done to his people, but he was severely conflicted about it because he didn't want to destroy everybody. Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, it was surface level. Her quote-unquote caring about people was surface level.
That was like, man, hold my beer, right? Controversy over the storylines has ramped up since 2023. Russell T Davies returned as showrunner. A trio of anniversary specials kicked off with a plot involving a character who was able to save London because they were trans. Another saw the Doctor, played by David Tennant, realizing he was gay after he crushed on Sir Isaac Newton, who they made black, I think.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. That's one thing that I forgot about the part where where David Tennant had, crushed on Isaac Newton. And yes, they made fucking Isaac Newton black. Yes, they did that. I remember that. Uh-huh. It was a very brief, 10-second scene. But yes, they made Isaac Newton black. Episode 2 of what, Gore? Which episode 2 of which series? Because they were he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He was not. I'll after we go through this, I'll show it to you. He wasn't.
No, but I'm saying, what is this, Netflix? Viewing figures were still 2 million up on the episodes to come under Ncuti, accompanied by a new companion Ruby Sunday. The first full series had plots slamming everything from capitalism to Christianity and introduced a new enemy played by a drag queen. Again, this is
I heard about that. I heard about that.
I think this is Davies unchecked because, look, those kinds of storylines were in early New Who, especially under Davies. This is a guy who did Queer as Folk. I think that was his show.
Okay, why do people keep changing historical figures around Isaac Newton should never be black?
Yeah, what the hell? They did it with Queen Elizabeth? I think they did. No. Well, maybe. No, I don't think they were with Queen Elizabeth. I don't know. Yeah, the BBC for the last umpteen years, has been very prevalent in taking historical figures and race swapping them, primarily making white historical characters black. Or, not, okay, yes, but that's because Russell T Davies, unchecked, had not come back into the fold. Historical and classic literature characters that were white in the classically Shakespearean characters. The BBC has taken to making Shakespearean characters that were white and making them black. This is something the BBC has been doing for a while now. And modern Hollywood's been doing it too. Let's not fuck with it. Modern Hollywood's doing it too. Look at fucking Fan Four Stick. They made goddamn Johnny Storm black in Fan Four Stick. And Sue Storm was adopted by Johnny's father, who obviously was also black. Modern Hollywood has been doing this for decades now. And yeah, they're also eliminating redheads and basically taking any redhead and race swapping them to being black. And it's not just Disney, it's Hollywood in general doesn't like redheads, which pisses me off because I fucking love redheads.
There definitely was a gay vibe to the Russell T.
Heaven
Davies
forbid,
era of Doctor Who, but that being said, it was still made predominantly for a general audience. And you could tell that they didn't hate the audience back then. And now it feels like they just absolutely hate the audience. It's like, we don't want those old men watching Doctor Who. They said the crew working on the show in Cardiff are said to be furious at being left in limbo after filming wrapped last week, and that would explain why they're looking for people to rent the studios. The insider said word on the set is that the BBC will shelve the series for at least 5 years.
Needs
the crew
to be
were
more.
told not to hold their breath for work on the series for at least 10 years.
Good. Yes,
10
they
years.
need to. They need to.
As we scramble to find work, those responsible get to ride off into other well-paid projects without any repercussions. Filming wrapped on Friday afternoon with no fanfare or celebration.
Oof.
Shooty's exit as a Time Lord would be the earliest since Eccleston. Oh, yeah, Eccleston. Yeah, left after
there
the
we
season.
go. There we
Because
go.
he had problems with, management. Duh. I keep forgetting. It's funny. I love Christopher Eccleston, but I keep forgetting he even was a doctor. Because he was on for like 13 episodes. And that's it.
Sweet of
Tennant,
you,
Matt
Mouse.
Smith, Pierre Capaldi, Jodie Whittaker all did at least 3 before handing over the TARDIS key. And I forgot Jodie even did 3. She did like 2.5, right? Because didn't they do Flux? Wasn't even like a full season. She was brought in by Russell T Davies, who rebooted the franchise in 2000.
Eccleston didn't see the writing on the wall. Eccleston had issues with management. Like there was a blow up, and I think he refused. If memory served, he refused to work for the BBC for quite some time after that. He refused to do any acting gigs with the BBC for years after the blow up that resulted in his run as the Doctor. He's doing work with the BBC now. I don't know if they patched things up or something, but that's why he didn't return for Day of the Doctor, Leo, is because he was still holding on to that beef, I think, with the BBC, or the BBC was still holding on the beef with him. That's why he did return for the Day of the Doctor, which is unfortunate. It would have been cool to see him back.
2005, only to return 2 years ago. A lot of people thought myself included, thought that they were going to course correct Doctor Who, maybe retcon the Timeless Child, which was a terrible storyline where they retcon the whole origin of the Doctor. The Doctor's no longer a Time Lord, but some other kind of alien that has infinite lives.
Yeah, I told you guys about that, where they retconned the entire origin of the Doctor, and they royally fucked it. Oh yeah, you didn't know about that? Yeah. So apparently the Doctor is not a Time Lord. The Doctor is the Doctor. Okay, I'm gonna try and quick and dirty this. Yeah, this was the story arc, The Timeless Child. So the conclusion of the conclusion of the episode, The Timeless Child. It turns out that, like eons ago, some Gallifreyan scientists, some female Gallifreyan scientists, went off to explore, and she found some kind of gateway into another universe or another dimension. Out walks this little girl. So this Gallifreyan scientist take this little girl back to Gallifrey. One day, that little girl falls off of like not exactly a cliff, but kind of like a 10-foot cliff, and dies. But then this little girl regenerates. And this Doctor realizes, oh, regeneration, never died. I must harness this. So this Gallifreyan female Doctor proceeds to torture this child by killing her over and over again to force her to regenerate God knows how many times to learn the secrets of her regeneration. Then she finally discovers the secrets of the regeneration, and this Gallifreyan female scientist basically created the Time Lords. And then they proceeded to wipe the Doctor's memory of ever knowing this. And it was only because the Master somehow found it in like the archives of the ruins of Gallifrey and tells the Doctor, you were that little girl that came through from this other dimension. So the Doctor is not even a Time Lord. The Doctor has unlimited generations, thus completely fucking up the whole plot point of of Matt Smith regenerating into Peter Capaldi. It pissed off everyone. Like, anyone who was still sticking with the show at that point said, fuck this shit, I'm out. They said, fuck it, I'm out, I want nothing. Yeah, they basically retconned the entire show from scratch. They retconned the entirety of the show. And like, there's even more to it than that. I'm like bare bonesing the shit out of this. There's even more to this. And they've retconned the holy fuck out of the entirety of the entire franchise. And everybody hated it. Everybody.
And it was stupid. He was in Barbie. He's been making another film, The Roses, with Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman. He's thought to have a string of other projects on both sides of the Atlantic. Spokesperson said Doctor Who has not been shelved. As we had previously stated, the decision on season 3 will be made after season 2 airs. The deal with Disney Plus was for 26 episodes. Exactly half of those have to transmit yet. Yeah, but this is the thing. And they issued a statement about it.
It's done.
Which basically said, yeah, we haven't aired season 2 yet. Here's the thing. This happens all the time. Like when we reported that She-Ra, the Netflix She-Ra show, was done. It was canceled. It was over. People argued with us because they're like, well, they haven't even aired seasons 4 and 5 yet.
Yes, it did,
I'm like,
Massacre.
Dear dumbasses, do you not realize these shows are filmed way ahead of when they actually air, right? Or cartoons especially. They're animated like a year or two sometimes ahead of when they actually are broadcast. Same with Doctor Who. They had a 26 episode order. I do not believe Disney is going to bankroll anymore given their financial situation. And also the BBC, there's, I'd have to look into this a little bit more, but apparently the USAID thing, the BBC was getting a large portion of its funding from U.S. taxpayers, and that rug has been pulled out from underneath them.
Well, Alex, according to this, it seems like now it says BBC's Media Action Charity. So that's not the BBC itself. The BBC is funded by taxpayer dollars. Okay? The BBC is the BBC as a network is funded by taxpayer dollars. Okay, so the taxes that British people that people in the UK pay, part of that does go to the BBC to fund it. So the people of the UK are the ones funding the BBC. This is, it looks like the Media Action Charity, which I have no idea what it is. Yeah, so now, could this be some kind of a shell game? I don't fucking know. But yeah, basically Dragon Rider. Well, is PBS funded by taxpayers? I thought PBS was, is that taxpayer funded? Or is that donation funded? Because PBS was always doing those like donation like runs. Like the telephone donation run thing. Some tax dollars along with donations. Okay. Partially. Okay. BBC is like 100% taxpayer funded. At least in my understanding it is. Now, people in the UK, if I am incorrect on this, please correct me. But I was under the impression BBC is 100% taxpayer funded. So,
if Disney decides it's not worth it, why the hell would Disney? God, look at these ads.
Independent charity affiliate. Okay. USAID funds have gone to BBC Media Action, which is an independent charity affiliated with the BBC. BBC Media Action focuses on media development projects, including promoting key press, combating disinformation, and supporting humanitarian communications efforts in various countries. Okay, so it is an independent charity affiliated with the BBC. It's not actually funding the BBC. That is a key distinction.
Close them and they keep popping up. Why would Disney bankroll more Doctor Who when they could use that money on their own stuff, right? I don't see Disney renewing the deal at all. The viewership was low. Literally nobody was subscribing to Disney Plus to watch Doctor Who. I think that's what they thought was going to happen when they made the deal. But
or if they did, they canceled the subscription shortly after Whittaker's run.
I don't see there being more Doctor Who for a while. And then we have the whole thing with the TV license, which again, I don't fully understand. But my basic understanding of it is that is going to get yanked here pretty soon. That funding is going to get yanked, and Doctor Who is a very expensive show, right? To produce, unless you just park them on Earth and have coffee shop adventures or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I could see it for no other reason.
They did that for hang on, let me go back to where they showed all the doctors. Hang on, they actually did that where they parked the Doctor on Earth for a time. Hang on. For Peter, I think it was Peter Davidson. It was either Peter Davidson's run or Colin Baker's run. They literally parked him on Earth. The TARDIS went away. He did not use the TARDIS. And it was for one of these two. They spent I think almost their entire run just on Earth. They were not, was it Colin Baker's? Okay, it was Colin Baker's. No, it wasn't Tom Baker's run. I've watched some of Tom Baker's run. He used the TARDIS. No, it was Colin Baker. He did not use the TARDIS. He was strictly on Earth, and he just did adventures on Earth. No TARDIS use. I don't think was it John Pertwee's run? I thought it was Colin Baker's. The diner episode. No, that's Peter Capaldi, J10. That's something else entirely. Yeah, something like that. Where's Matt Smith? Good question. Why for have Matt Smith? Oh, there he is. He's right here. He's right there. David Tennant, Matt Smith, Peter Capaldi, Jodie Whittaker, then David Tennant again. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, it was both of them. Okay.
Unless you just, park them on Earth and have coffee shop adventures or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I could see it for no other reason.
Okay, Andrea.
I could see him bailing on Doctor Who just to save his own ass.
I felt they did with Colin Baker too.
I mean, I could. It's a toxic show to be associated with at this point. And same with Jodie Whittaker. I think I don't know if she got pushed out, but I think she was trying to save her rep because she's going to want to work again. And if she's the person that's responsible for getting Doctor Who canceled or whatever, it's not a good look. You don't want to be that person, right?
Yep.
And meanwhile, they had Peter Capaldi who played Doctor Who forever. Capaldi loved playing the Doctor. He had shitty storylines, but my God, he loved.
Capaldi didn't play him forever. Capaldi had 4 seasons? That's about the same. Didn't Capaldi have? Hang on. See, we're 1336. Hang on. Where'd it go? Hang on. Capaldi. Yeah, Capaldi had 3 seasons. David Tennant was the one that had a monster run. David Tennant had 5 seasons. Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi both only had 3 seasons. He didn't play him forever. He had a couple seasons. He had 3 seasons just like Matt Smith did. It was David Tennant who had the big run. David Tennant, everybody loved David Tennant as the Doctor. That's why he was considered did he have 7 seasons or not? He played the Doctor for a long time, but you have to remember, they had shorter seasons, back during this time. So, yeah, Peter Capaldi probably wanted to keep playing the Doctor, but he wanted to keep playing him, but I think he knew the scripts were starting to fail him in the end, because the scripts were failing Peter Capaldi towards the end of his run. They were just, they were running out of ideas, I think.
Storylines, but my God, he loved playing the Doctor. And I loved watching him as the Doctor. Even in terrible episodes of Doctor Who, I would watch them just to watch Peter Capaldi because he was so damn good as the Doctor. And they could have him forever. They could have just swapped writers, got some people that actually knew what the hell they're talking about, and just run with Peter Capaldi for another 10 years.
I love David Tennant, Dragon Rider. He was one of my favorites. David Tennant, Matt Smith, my 2 favorites.
There it is. That's the rumor. Again, huge rumor, but I'm looking at some other evidence, and it just feels like there's no point. Why the hell would you dump more money into Doctor Who when the returns are rapidly declining? Gonna wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.
Yeah, I think Doctor Who's done. And it needs to be. For at least 10 years.
Let's be honest here. The moment they announced a female Doctor, given the climate, the core Who fans immediately wrote it off and were suspicious.
Revan, no, I don't think so. When Jodie Whittaker was announced, this was before the shit with girl power, girl bosses was going out of control. There was actually a lot of hype for Jodie Whittaker being the Doctor. I was one of them. I was absolutely one of those people that was actually hyped for Jodie Whittaker. It was at the very beginning of it, Revan. That was like with Jodie Whittaker when they announced her. That was at the very beginning of it. Before, I don't think it was already raging at that point. I don't. Hang on. Because Jodie Whittaker was the doctor. Hang on. When did she? Yeah, she became the doctor in 2018. That was when they first announced it. So the whole thing was like the girl power thing was just starting. It hadn't reached that point where people were like, what the fuck? Why is everything girl bossed? It was on the rise. It wasn't at the peak that it is. It wasn't at the peak that it was a couple years later. So yeah, you had some people that were going like, okay, this is in response to modern day climate, with everything that was happening politically. But we hadn't reached the point where everybody was like, okay, we're changing the character to a female, and everybody was going, oh, because of fucking course you are, because modern Hollywood. We had not reached that point yet. We were on the path to it, but we hadn't reached it yet. So a lot of people were willing to give her a try, and plenty of people were actually still very excited for her because it was moving the show into a new, potentially interesting direction. No, Beats, I disagree. I think Peter Capaldi did a fantastic job as the Doctor. I just think that the script writers were failing him by the third season. By the third season, the script writers were failing Peter Capaldi. I think he was an excellent Doctor. I thought he was fantastic. It's not my favorite, but I do think he was an excellent Doctor. And Jodie Whittaker possibly could have been, but from the jump, the script writers absolutely failed Jodie Whittaker. And yeah, they basically shit the bed with it. So at this point, Doctor Who needs to go on to at least a 10-year hiatus. At this point, Doctor Who needs to go away for at least 10 years. Well, Beats, you know what? For any long-lived show, there reaches a falling off point. And with Peter Capaldi, if they'd ended it with Peter Capaldi, it would have ended on a bit of a slump at the end, but it wouldn't have ended off on people actively disliking the show. We are now at a point where people actively dislike the show. Oh, yes, Zeb, he does. Eccleston did. So, at this point, though, Doctor Who needs to end and needs to go on a hiatus for at least 10 years. Do nothing. After 10 years, bring in all new writers that actually can write Doctor Who and are not activists. Bring in actors that are not activists. And basically, get a fresh restart on Doctor Who. It needs to go away for 10 years. Yes, absolutely. Like, look what happened the last time Doctor Who went on a 10-year hiatus. It came back and... No, don't do a full reset. No, I don't think they should do a full reset. That would actually harm Doctor Who more than help. They do need to go on a 10-year hiatus because that has worked. That has worked for Doctor Who before. The last time Doctor Who went on a 10-year hiatus and it came back with Christopher Eccleston, the popularity of that show went into the fucking stratosphere. They need to do at least a 10-year hiatus again. At least a 10-year hiatus. And if they can't get people that are not activists writing and acting in the show, keep it on hiatus. Just do it.